Nice bash. On it, bash. Come on, boys.
Beautifully bowled. Gives you a clue as to how many revs that Shoaib Bashir puts on the ball, in that he's able to get the ball to drift into this very strong wind across the ground. Ball revolving hard is what's helping it to drift in. Huge hands, Shoaib Bashir. Really going to get that ball into those fingers. Rip down on it. Slightly slower. And a nice probing set of deliveries from him. 1-2-1 for 4. Matthews holding it all together. 1 is England's lead. Looks like they're going to persist with the short ball to Angelo Matthews. Wood being employed as a battering ram.
I think they might vary the length a little bit. You see Chris Wokes there at mid-on. If you're going full short ball theory, you don't need a mid-on. So my betting here is there'll be the odd full ball in the equation as well, particularly how deep Angelo Matthews is in the crease.
Have a little switch to around the wicket. Try to get it right in at the body of Angelo Matthews, force him into making a decision around whether to play and protect his body or to dive underneath it. Underneath it he goes. Those surfaces here at Old Trafford, albeit it's not as quick as it can be or has been in the past, but generally speaking, if you're bowling at this sort of pace, middle of the pitch, you know the ball's going to go over your head. And at the moment, Matthews is just not playing England's game. How long you have the patience to keep ducking underneath it is another thing. And if you can draw the sting of Mark Wood and get him pounding away and putting all that stress through the body, bowling wasted short deliveries, then he's not a machine, can't go on forever.
Yeah, you know he's only going to bowl 3-4 over spells, so you do have a choice. You can take it on and try and put runs on the board, or you can accept that it just duck and dive for a few overs and then try and score when the new bowler comes on.
Went for leg stump there, but not quite accurate enough. So a maiden over, one that Matthews didn't have to play, and that's an over ticked off from Mark Wood. 1-2-1 for 4. Tizai, Leclerc. Nicely cut back with a point by Kamindu Mendes. It's a little quiet period here as England try to work out the best method of making a breakthrough as Sri Lanka go into the lead.
Bash.
Thinking back to the last ball of Mark Wood's previous over, it looked as though that ball reverse swung and he got it up there, tried to go for the leg stump. Oh, that's got to be close. Kamindu Mendes toppled over that, got his head the wrong side of the ball. Smith is really excited and Pope goes upstairs.
England review.
Well, I think third umpire's looking for whether Jamie Smith
So as
may
the
have
bowler
got
is
his...
starting his run-up or bowling action, and then the wicket keeper. On a split screen, please. Standing by, guys. Hold on, 1 minute.
whether or not he got his gloves in front of the stumps as the ball was being delivered, in which case it's a no ball.
It is a no ball. He's not wholly behind the stumps. He's not wholly behind the stumps until the ball has come in to the batsman, so it's a no ball. His gloves are in front. It's not wholly behind the stumps. So I'll take you back to Pistol on screen. Pistol, you're on.
Well, you heard third umpire, Joel Wilson. Gloves not wholly behind the stumps. So as in with a no ball call from the bowler and the bowler's feet, the line belongs to the umpire in effect. Jamie Smith just encroached enough for that to be given as a no ball. Review is kept because the review doesn't take place if it's a no ball, so England won't lose it. And the ball did straighten, it did turn. It may well have hit the stumps, but it doesn't matter.
Nice bash.
It's an early
Good bash.
early lesson for Jamie Smith.
Halfway here,
You
bash.
wonder how many times he might have done this in the past, but because there was no review or no appeal, it's not been looked at.
Well, it's the first time I've ever seen it. Hopefully it didn't cost England too much. Umpire's call it was, so that it would have remained not out and would have kept their review. Just needed to turn a little bit more
Like it, bash.
to catch more of leg stump. I think Jamie Smith will be quite relieved at that.
Yes, bash. Great set again, bash. Good bash.
Well, eventful over. 1-2-4 for 4.
England keep the review. Current reviews remaining. Sri Lanka 2, England 2.
Sri Lanka lead by 2. Try and keep you updated on Dinesh Chandimal, who has gone to hospital with a suspected broken thumb. He's having an X-ray as we speak. Mark Wood to continue. Quick single.
Nice, Woody. Great effort, Woody. Same just on that side.
Angelo Matthews has been trying to keep the short ball down. Kamindu Mendes has no intention of keeping it down. He's been hooking and trying to hook and pull it away for 6. Now that 3 have gone back and a square leg and a deepish mid-wicket, he may duck underneath it. We shall see.
He might have to curb his natural intention. He played in the recent ODI series against India, came in at number 8 for the majority of those games. Had some handy knocks, top score with 40 not out against India in one of them. At the stage of those games, all the attempts was to score, score and score. Looks as if it's going to be a different approach here today. Heavily stacked onside field, so this is the challenge now for Kamindu Mendes. That's what he's got to try and navigate. Square leg, mid-wicket, mid-on, reasonably close, and then a deep square and fine leg as well. All in weight.
Ducks under that one. Now look at the umpire and ask the question, how many bounces is that for the over? Umpire says 1. He's now going to change angle as well. Mark Wood coming round the wicket. Slightly slower bouncer. Stuart Broad was talking about that. The odd slower ball bouncer, but he's been used as the enforcer often in his career, Mark Wood.
Nice, Woody.
Short ball ploy, they often go to him. Short, skiddy, quick, and since tea, 56% have been bouncers, 27% short. Plan is obvious.
What they don't want, England, is what happened to Gus Atkinson in the first innings where he got Jai Surya. Caught it gully. But it was the third bouncer for the over. So given no ball and he survived. And then was dismissed a couple of balls later.
Hint of reverse swing in there. They've been banging it in so much it's scuffed it up, and that just drifted in against the breeze. 126 for 4. Bashir to continue from the Statham end. He's wicketless in this second innings.
Good bash. Good, Bashy. 5-8 bash, come on boys. Let's go boys. Let's go Bashy. Well Bash, very good boy.
No ball to Smith with his gloves getting in front of the line of the stumps. I think for some keepers, particularly new into the game, it will probably fluster them a little bit, but I don't think for Jamie Smith, he's so even in his temperament.
Do you know what? He probably didn't even realise he was doing it. Maybe something that the third umpire would have, well, obviously would have checked it for the review, but maybe something that should be on the on-field umpire just to say to Jamie Smith, you're getting close, you're getting, as with a no ball, as with Ben Stokes when he got his first few wickets with a no ball. Dragged down and pulled away. That's a boundary. Excellent from Kamindu Mendis. He looks in good touch.
Yeah, good game plan as well. Wood's gone short to him with a heavily on-stack onside field. Bashir's different. The right arm finger spinner, there's no protection there, so he's more than happy to go hands from low to high, clear anyone nice and close, find the boundary.
just hearing from Joel Wilson, actually, the umpire, Gaffney, the on-field umpire, standing at square leg now, actually had a word with Jamie Smith, just saying, be careful, you're getting very close to being in front or level with the stumps. So that was good on-field umpiring. Good from Joel Wilson with the review to check it as well. 133 for 4. Michael Atherton.
Yeah, just to back what you were talking up about there, Nas, because I looked at the ball before, or myself and the lads in the trucks looked at the ball before, and Jamie Smith actually is in front of the stumps the ball before. If I show you, this is the ball before that review, and as Jamie Smith goes down there, his gloves are not wholly behind the wicket. So that's the ball before the review, and as you said, 2 balls before that, the on-field umpire, Chris Gaffney, had just warned Jamie Smith. And as the law says, the wicket-keeper shall remain wholly behind the wicket at the striker's end from the moment the ball comes into play until the ball delivered by the bowler touches the bat or the person of the striker or passes the wicket at the striker's end. So, yeah, they noticed it and they were right.
I think what typically happens too when keepers are up, they're looking at their end position, so gloves on the ground, they can probably see the line in front of their gloves, so they think I'm behind it, and that's probably A-OK, but it's that movement, isn't it, as they're going down and also coming up is the area that they need to be really mindful of.
Change of ends for Gus Atkinson. First time in the match he's going to bowl at the James Anderson end. Messing with that fine leg slip. Sometimes he's been leg gully, and sometimes he's been leg slip, and Matthews messes with him as well. The moment he goes finer, he clips it squarer. Ollie Pope's a bit of guesswork where it will go. Remember, you're only allowed 3. Not allowed 3, only allowed 2. The moment you have 3 behind square leg side, that will be a no ball as well. So he's only allowed a couple back there. As you can see here, he's got a leg gully. He's quite square now for the left-hander. Because he's behind square, the man out in the deep, Potts has to be in front of square.
Yeah, only 2 fielders allowed behind the line square. It's interesting, just notice over this test match, Harry Brook has been doing a lot more shining of the ball. It's typically Joe Root that's sort of been tasked with that task of keeping it nice and shiny one side, looking after the ball for seamers and spinners. No Ben Stokes, so Ollie Pope captaining. Harry Brook comes in as the vice captain. They're just giving a few extra duties as well out on the field.
He's definitely someone I would keep an eye on for future leadership roles. I quite like the way he keeps things simple in the game of cricket. I think that will be good for a captain, not to overcomplicate things. It's fairly impressive in the 100 when he did captain. Well, he was practicing that shot. He was trying to open up the offside.
Certainly showing he's quite proficient square of the wicket, whether it's to the onside or the offside. And also just the selection of the balls in which to strike. He knows they're trying to set him up with that shorter ball, particularly with players in catching positions on the onside. So he's ducked and weaved the majority of those, but he's just found a little bit of extra width outside off to score.
Couple more.
You can only do, you don't have to do it for one ball.
Partnership's good, 46 from 82. Kamindu Mendes probably has been slightly more positive. He's got 29 of those 46. Angelo Matthews just showing his experience occupying the crease. He has 16 of 30. Mendes has had most of the strike.
Bash. Go bash, you boy. Just in front. See your helmet.
Oh, now inside edge. It wasn't a stumping chance. It was a massive inside edge. If anything, Jamie Smith might have right booted it onto the stumps.
Nice bash.
First and foremost, it's a great tempter, isn't it? If it had just ricocheted, got the angle right. Jamie Smith, a little bit of a footballer back in his day, because it looked as if he just tried to angle the ankle.
He's got a North London connection, if it's Tottenham or Arsenal in the family. Nearly right booted it onto the stumps. Beautifully driven. Kamindu Mendes looks in top touch, and that brings up the 50 partnership.
Yeah, clear of mind, because the ball before, very similar, in which he almost found himself walking back with the ricochet onto the stumps. Instead, cleared his mind, next delivery. Yep, tossed up again, great footwork.
Good bash.
Partnership passes 50.
Nice bash, yes.
fully forward, fully back. I know he's had a little bit of luck at the inside edge, but Mendes playing nicely.
Good, Bash.
146 for 4. Long discussion out there. This is probably the time where Stuart Broad and James Anderson used to get in a huddle with the bowlers and have a chat about plans, and Ben Stokes, whichever one we're talking about. But with Ollie Pope and those two senior bowlers retired, it's now Chris Wokes and Mark Wood who are just having a chat with Ollie Pope and formulating a plan here.
Last 15 or so seconds just on Ollie Pope there, you start to wonder about that sort of mental fatigue too. He would have been switched on in the days leading into this test. Every night going over the day's play, trying to plan ahead for today. Mind ticking over.
So what is the plan? It's a mix. It's not just short pitch bowling. There's a short extra, short mid-wicket. It's a bit more of a subcontinent field actually, like reverse swing. Target that front pad. Inside edge before it reaches the pads.
I don't mind it to Matthews too. We saw him taking that deep stance in the crease to Wood with that extra pace. So now if Gus Atkinson can keep up around that 85-mile-an-hour mark, push Matthews back, get the ball to nibble around like he did just then, and be patient, could create something.
Trying to keep Matthews guessing, whether it be short or full.
I guess this is the opportunity for someone like Ollie Pope to make his mark on the game too. As much as he said it's going to be the same message, just a different voice with no Ben Stokes, he will have opportunities to create his own game plan and utilise his experience through county and international matches to come up with some tactics to try and break this partnership.
Yeah, it's that gut feel for the game that Stokes clearly had. At the moment you look down on a Stokes captain side, you knew who was in charge, but also you knew he had a really good gut feel for the game and the direction of the game and tactics. You never know that, even if you've done county cricket, until you're captain of an international side. And this will be probably the first test for Ollie Pope. This partnership, how is he going to break this partnership?
And I think that gut feel isn't just on a whim, it's all those years of playing county cricket, international cricket, where he's probably in the field, even if he wasn't captain, just taking things in and thinking about ways in which you can move the game forward or try and nullify a certain attack. And I feel as if that's an Ollie Pope. He wouldn't have just been sitting back at Surrey in the field, just letting the game sort of meander along underneath other leaders. He probably would have been in the field himself, trying to figure out what he would do. so then the more you think about it in those situations, the better chance you've got of formulating something when you're out in the middle and leading the team.
And maiden 146 for 4. The other thing obviously you can do is go to some part-time bowlers. You've got a bit of Joe Root and Dan Lawrence. Dan Lawrence hasn't bowled in the game. And Lawrence moving to Surrey this year, has bowled a lot more for Surrey. His off spin with that unorthodox action. Just a hunch, give him an over or two.
Very smacking, Gus. I think you're catching on point, boss. Catch on point.
Lights are on. Bashir's just chucked the ball to the umpire, rifle, and said we're not happy. Often the umpire throws it back, but on this occasion Rifle's just going to see his mate and maybe get a bit cut off the seam there. We'll see if it, yeah, it looks like the seam has just swollen.
It doesn't seem as if it's the shape of the ball at all. It's gone through the rings okay. It's more so the actual seam and whether or not the meeting of the two leather pieces has just been raised too much for their liking.
All Aussies will get a bit fidgety at this stage. The ball change.
Settle.
England will be interested because this one isn't doing a lot. It's not swinging, reverse swinging. Try and find a ball around about 41 overs old. That seam damaged on the ball they are using. Different colour, isn't it? It's a darker ball. I think the umpire has also looked at that and thought it looks a bit dark. Anyway, the players are taking drinks, which I think is the right thing to do at this stage. Umpire Paul Rifler said that one looks a bit dark actually. Can we have another box of balls brought out?
Where was he 12 months ago?
Well, it's been an eventful day for Jamie Smith with the gloves and also with the bat. His first Test match 100. He's incredibly talented, but his composure as a Test match cricketer so far has been wonderful to watch if you're an England fan. He's got a big future. First of many Test 100s, you feel. Another good selection from the England selectors. They have quite a few keeper batters to select from. They went for Smith. He has not let them down.
Yeah, started up batting with Harry Brook. And as the wickets fell, worked into the tail, worked well with every single teammate that came out to the middle. His mate Gus Atkinson, the Surrey player, is at the other end, scored 20 to help him get there. Worked his way in and out of breaks well. I've said it before, but just such an even temperament.
So the ball has been changed. The lead 24.
Like it, Bash.
West Indies series, we had numerous ball changes, particularly at Trent Bridge. Kamindu Mendes is certainly showing us he's equally adept off the back foot as he is the front, particularly to spin at the moment. That's usually a pretty good indication that he picks up length well.
Nice bash.
Dragged down, but he finds the man on square point and he's disappointed. 148 for 4.
Sri Lanka 26 runs to the good. Making a good fist of battling it out. They're still in a precarious position, of course. Angelo Matthews has looked solid. Mindu has got stuck in. And England are being made to work. There are still 28 overs and 5 balls in the day possible. Scheduled close of play because of rain and interruptions is 6:30, but we can play till 7. I think we'll be able to get to 7. I don't think bad light will be an issue this evening. There are a few clouds around, but blue sky, it appears, on the way. As we've seen throughout the test, every now and again one just bounces. Chandimal, who was hit on the thumb and went to hospital for an x-ray. We're sort of hearing whispers that that x-ray may have come back clear, which is great news for him and for Sri Lanka, and may be able to bat again in pain, maybe, but we'll have that officially confirmed as soon as we can.
Been a funny old day, really, because Sri Lanka have found some resistance. Angelo Matthews has played excellently. Kamindu Mendes looked in rare touch. They just gave England 2 hours head start this morning. They've been competitive throughout this game. They've really played some excellent cricket for long periods.
Helped on its way, and effectively so, by Angelo Matthews.
Yeah, he's played really well today. been a bit more aggressive right from the outset. He came in on a pair, remember, hit his first ball down the ground and got off the pair in good style. He was more aggressive against Shoaib Bashir, just didn't allow Bashir just to bowl at him. Looks an aging cricketer at times in the field when you watch him trekking after the ball, but his batting is sound. Still a very good player.
And he likes playing against England in England. So we have had it officially confirmed that Dinesh Chandimal's thumb is not fractured and will bat if necessary.
It's amazing news that. I'd have put a lot of money on that being a fracture or a break when he walked off with his hand shaking violently.
Nicely controlled again, this time for a single to end the 43rd. 153 for 4. Sri Lanka's lead is 34. Well, I agree with you, Ath. I thought for all money that would have been a fracture. But he has gone to hospital and had it cleared. That was the incident. A nasty delivery from Mark Wood. It was quick, it bounced. He straight away, there was no delay trying to just sort of walk it off and shake it off and gather his thoughts. He was straight to the dressing room to get the physio out. As you say, look at the hand shaking. The swelling was evident in other shots that we had. We thought for all money that would be a fracture. I mean, X-rays can miss fractures first time around. Happened to me a couple of times with fingers. But at the moment he's good. Well, it's not broken. I'm not saying he's good. It's not broken.
In a way, it's not the most relevant thing. It's whether you can grip the bat or not. Break or no break. Can you grip the bat and can you bat?
Absolutely. You know, you bat with broken fingers and sore fingers all the time. It's just whether you can actually physically hold the bat and wield the bat like you want to. The pain you can deal with block injections or just some paracetamol or whatever. It's physically whether you can control the bat. Although Malcolm Marshall once batted with a broken hand, didn't he? Carved Paul Allott through the covers for 4, one-handed.
He did. Came out with a plaster on his arm, didn't he? Just batted one-handed with his right hand, I think, his bottom hand. And tucked into Paul Allott, one-handed.
He also took 7 wickets with his his other hand in a plaster cast. You faced the great Malcolm Marshall, didn't you?
I did. He was a great bowler. So sad. Passed away very young age, but a wonderful bowler.
What made him so good?
Well, he was fast for a start. He kind of came sprinting in on a curving run. And then he was fast and skillful. He could move it both ways at pace. I always think you should not a tall bowler. I always think if you're not that tall, you've got to be really exceptional to be successful at the highest level, and he must go down as one of the best ever. Hampshire's overseas player for many years, at a time when overseas players in county cricket, the players often stayed with their counties for many years. We had a couple here at Lancashire, Clive Lloyd and Farouk Engineer. Wasim Akram. In fact, all those 3 that I mentioned there still have homes in the county. They've become adopted Lancastrians. Wasim has a flat here. Clive and Farouk live here permanently. Look at that record from Malcolm Marshall. Fantastic average and strike rate.
Bet that got you revved up facing him straight out of university or whenever it was.
It was very early on. It was about my 3rd or 4th game for the county. Great thrill looking back on it. not necessarily a great thrill at the time. Now Matthew Potts much better in the second innings than he was in the first. He settled into a good rhythm, a good line in his first spell in this second innings.
.153 for 4. Ollie Pope is leaving the field, so it'll be Harry Brook who will be in charge with the on-field affairs until he returns. There he is, running down to the James Anderson end to have a chat with Gus Atkinson. Harry going to rip up the playbook and start again now. Ollie's off doing what he needs to do.
Well, it's amazing, isn't it? He is Ollie Pope's vice captain. It doesn't seem 2 minutes since he was making his debut. England team that is changing really before our eyes. No Broad, no Anderson, no Bairstow, no Stokes for this game.